Hello, let's build this together. We are going to be designing this hero section for awesome international hotel. Let me edit this text. International hotel. And this will make you to understand some Figma effect, auto layout, the basics of auto layout, so you can use it on your own. And I'm going to explain everything in detail. That's why I just want this one to be for people who are just starting out. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just rename this one to hero. Now I'm going to create new frame. So I press A on my keyboard and I select desktop. Okay. So the height is not important, but make sure that the width is 1440. All right. So we have these resources here. You can see we have this background image, and then we have all this color. All this icon is what you can source yourself by using this plugin, Iconify. Okay, so I'm not going to leave that one here, but the color is already here. And this background image, if you examine it, you see that I've added overlay. This is the overlay. Because of it, we are going to be having some text on it. So if that overlay is not there, it will be too bright and then the text will not be very visible. Let me show you how I hide it. So what I did is that I added another color, that's add fill. Now you can see we have it at 20%. So I just increase it to 70% like this. Okay, that's all. So let me drag it here, right? And you can see it's equal to the frame. So I want to make sure that it sticks to the top. So just click here and align top like this. Okay, we are good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start typing. Press T on your keyboard to activate the text mode. Then right click once. And then type awesome cap lock. Awesome international hotel. Okay. Make sure that your font size is set to 50. And then the font face is Signica negative. You can use anyone that you like, but the one I'm using here is Signica negative. And then make sure that you put it to semi-bold. Okay, so I'm going to put it right here. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open Iconify, and I'm going to search for hamburger menu. Hamburger, like this. I think the spelling is not correct. We have one here. Another one is here. But don't let us wait our time. Let's just import one, because this can waste time. So what I want to do is I want to increase you can see this one is 16 by 16. Maybe the one that you import is bigger than this. I just want to increase it to something like maybe 24. I feel like it's 2. Let's say 36 then. And as you can see, when I'm increasing it, this is lock, right? So change the stroke to white. That's FFF. Okay, we are getting there. What I'm going to do is I want to edit it. Now I don't want it to be suffering with all this, so you can leave it. You can leave it like that, right? Like this. If you imported something that looks like this, but me, I want to make sure that it look like this one, because sometimes we have to edit some icon that we imported just to make it a little bit custom. So I'm going to press enter to enter into edit mode. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure that this one is a little bit like this. Okay, shorter. Press shift so that it doesn't drag when you are dragging it. And then probably maybe this one too, a little bit like this. And as you can see, they are too scattered. So what we can do is we can just select this one, right? Cut it, press enter, paste it, press enter again to enter edit mode. Select this one like this, cut it, press enter, and then paste it like this. So we have them differently now. What I want to do is I want to make them to come together like this, right? And I didn't plan this. So you may not do this. This is not really important. Let's have it as 6. Okay. So they are grouped. So I'm going to increase it to something like maybe 45 or 40. Okay, good. So we have it like this. And it's this small. If you ask me, it's this small. It's this small. So what we can do is that this stroke now, you can see, is at 1.5. So I want to make it to be maybe 3, like this. This one, 3 like this. I think that is a little bit better. Okay. I'm just going to make it 60. Good. So I think this is nice now. So one thing that we forgot is we need to set our grid layout. So going forward, if you want to align without grid, it's not going to be easy. So let's go ahead and set the grid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this desktop. In fact, let's rename it to maybe Euro 2, like this. And then we are going to move on to layout grid. Select this Euro 2 layout guide, I mean. So press this add button and then go to column. All right. Select 12. We can see we have this thread flying like this. Make this margin to be 120. And then make the gutter to be 40 this way. Okay. So by this, we define how the elements will look like on the page. And then we define our container size. The container size is the size of all this grid combined together with the number of the gutter. What I mean is this: if you should draw a rectangle, I press out on my keyboard and I can draw a rectangle like this. Or you can do it with frame. So from this side to this side, right, is 1200 pixels. That's all I mean by the container size. Okay. So let me delete this one for now. So now let's align our element to the grid. So this one, show is align. Right, like this. 1, 2, 3. So make sure that you have 120. Yeah, that's your padding left. Okay. So let's design this button pretty fast. So it's not hard. Just write customer care. Let me just put everything to like this, customer care. And then let's select our plugin. Phone. Now I'm doing this thing because sometimes if you want to design by yourself, you won't be using my own icon. So you know how to source icon by yourself for yourself. Which phone can we go with? Anyone is okay. We don't want to waste time on this. Probably this one is a good one to go with. And then you can see this one is facing left, while this one is facing right. Okay. So how we can rotate that is go to this place. We have flip horizontal. Just click on it like this. Okay. Click on this icon. You know this icon is inside of a frame. Click on this icon, this vector. Then just press F like this to make it white. So now drag it to this place. Okay, good. This is too big. This is 50. So make this to be 20. Font face to be 20. And then from semicolon, make it to be regular. All right. So now let us quickly use auto layout to structure things here. So how do we do it? Select this customer care and this icon, and then press this icon. Make sure that you select the icon. In fact, the icon is not even inside the frame again. Let me delete it. Press this icon this customer care, and then press Shift A. That's auto layout. All right. So the next thing is make sure that your own is inside of a frame. Okay. Before you give it a color, otherwise everything will be scattered. So give it a frame color, and then let's go with gradient. This gradient, linear gradient. So what we want to do is we want to select this color, these two colors here. So the first color, press this sample color, go with this one. Second color, sample color, go with this. All right. So you can see what we have here now. If you can toggle, we can toggle the grid by just pressing Shift and G. Okay. So you can see this button is looking good, but let's just make it better by giving it some space. How do we do that? To give it space, just press the frame. Let's just rename it to CTA Customer Care. So the padding, this is the padding left and right. Let's make it probably 20, right? And then we can make the top and bottom 20. If that is not too big. Yeah, I don't think it can go with that. And then let's give it some corner radius just to add some perception to it. I'll go with 9 pixel border radius. Okay, we are good now. So what I want to do is I want to align it. You just want to make it to be 120 like this. So you press Alt and then make it 120. 120. Okay, if I toggle the grid again by pressing Shift and G, you can see it's aligning with our grid. Okay. So what I want to do now is I just want to center this heading here. Shift and G to center it. Okay, and this one. So I want to group all of them together. So you can just use auto layout too if you want to do that. And this one will shift now a little bit because this one is at the center. And it's not even at the center, but it's shifted to this place because of this gap, right? What you can do is just to make this one to set to auto. But I don't want this to convince you. Don't let me do that for now. So, well, let me just do it so that I explain it briefly. So this auto, what it means that, when you put this into a frame, our frame is 1,200 like this. So when we use auto, it means that this one should be should stick to the right, while this one should shift to the left, and then this particular heading or anything that is inside here will now be at the center. That's what it means. Okay, hope that is clear enough. Okay, so we are done with that header now. Let's see the space that we have. Let's just put it to something like maybe 80. 1, 2, yeah, we are good. So you can see what I mean by the size of container. So our container here is 1,200 pixels. Okay, so let's continue. The next thing we want to have is this heading. Okay, so press T on your keyboard and then start typing. Find your perfect room and resources. Okay, so make sure that this one is set to maybe 40 is okay. And then Shift and H to align into the center. Okay. Medium. Let's use that semi-boot, not bad. Okay. So let's just make sure that this one is a little bit at the top. So we need this search bar now. So this search bar, press F on your keyboard, select frame, and then click and drag like this. All right, so let me toggle up our grid again so that we can just try to align to the grid a little bit. Let's give it color so that we can see what we are doing. Yeah. Okay, this is This will be okay. So we have it at 786. Okay, that's the width. And then we can make the height to be something like 70. 70 is not bad. Then let's give it some border radius. No, now we have to just drag, just click here and drag till it become rounded. Nice. Okay, so let me toggle off the grid now again. Then I'm going to press text. So I want to put a placeholder text here. So I'm going to write search here. Pam, pam, pam. So let me this one to be 20. If it's not going to be too little, it is 24 is okay. So let's change because it's placeholder, let's change the color to, let's go with 74, 74, 74. No, 7, I think it's 7A. The process is the same. 7A, 7A, 7A. Something like this. Okay. Then let's try to make it align. Let's can see we have 18, 18. Let's make it to be 20 to the left like this. This is cool. So let's create this button, this category button. So now you know how to create button, right? Press T on your keyboard and then write category. I need to go to school and go and learn how to spell category. Categories. Don't know if this is correct. So let's just go to Iconify and then we are going to search for drop down like this. We're going to get some option. Let me just search for only down, not to drop down now, because I feel like this is limiting. Yeah, and now we have more option. Let's go with this one. Something like this is okay, but let's go with this one first. This is good. All right. So this text is too big. This one is set to 24. Let's make it 20. I think 20 should be okay. And then shouldn't be this bold. Maybe something like regular or medium is okay. Let's go with regular for now. And then select both of them. Once again, this group, right? Or you can even remove it. Does not really matter. As I'm concerned, they don't matter. Just select them and then select this group and this text. Shift and A, auto layout, right? So let's give it color. Let's just give it something like this. Something that is not that saturated. Okay. And the color is C7, C9, D6. All right. In fact, we can even use our color that you want that we have here. So let me just select this one. Yeah. And this one is okay now. So what we can do is, of course, to give it some padding to the left and right. Let's go with 20 once more. It's not going to be too much. And then let's select 10. Top and bottom. I'm going to type 10. Okay, so the next thing, of course, is border radius, like this. Don't forget that we're using 70 here as the height. I want to drag this guy up here. So if you don't use 70, it will not fit. Let's make the height to be 70. That's the trick, okay? So now let's try to align it now. So you can see when we make the height to be 70, now the border radius is small to make it round. So we're going to increase it a little bit more, like this. Okay, and you can see this alignment is not set to the center. So let's make it to be at the center, like this. And then this one to be FFF, like this. Okay, so let's make it to be like this. I could have used auto layout to make this one very fast, but I don't want it to be too confused because, you know, this is what it is with auto layout. Auto layout sometimes can be confusing. But at least I think now you can follow very well. All right. So let's drag this one close to this guy because they are of the same family. Let's make it 40. Like this. And then the next thing that we want to do is, of course, we want to add button. Get started. So to be honest, this button if you ask me, it's too saturated, right? Because we have one button here and we have another button here. So these two buttons are calling for too much of attention. So let's make this one to, we don't even need this button here. When I designed this design, I think this was about 4 years or 3 years ago. I was still a learner there myself. So that was why some of these are not even looking good. You can even see the original design for yourself. You'd have to even do some redesign now. So we don't need any button here. This button is not needed. After the category, the next thing is book now. So I'm not going to include this button. Okay, if you like, you can put it there, but I'm not going to include it. So let's move on to this place. So what we can do now is you can copy this color now to this category, right? So let's do that. So I'm going to click on this button. So let's rename it to button, that's it here, category. Then the fill. Instead of using this solid color, now I'm going to be using gradient. So the first gradient, you can use our color here. This is the first gradient. And then the second gradient, which is this one, is going to be this other guy. So yeah, we are good now. This is too saturated. I'm not happy with it, to be honest. I feel like it's looking like a medicine now, like a tablet. So what you can do is, I need to plug my laptop. What you can do is, let's see if you can reduce the opacity here. Yeah, let's just go with that for now. You can play around with that, okay? And you see this one is too bold. So let's make it regular. Yeah, good. So that's what it is with design. Design, you have to iterate a lot. So now let's continue. Now this one, let's work on this one now. This one is very simple. There's nothing hard about it. And you will see how we're going to do it now. All right. So what we want to do is, we want to create a frame. So let's toggle our this thing, Shift and G. In fact, you might not need it, but let's just keep it on now. Press F on your keyboard, and then click and drag like this. Okay. So the next thing is we want to give it color. Okay, so you can give it white color like this. The way I give it color is, we don't have color here, right? So I click on high and I select white. Okay, if we click on any other color to it will be sampled. But let's just give it white for now. So we have it as white. But again, we are going to use gradients because we want to have this effect. You can see here we have, let me even show it to you. We have this background blur effect. You can see now that the background is blurring. Okay, so I'm going to see how we can do that now. So now we have it as linear, right? So this one is going to be F, and it's going to be at, let's leave it at maybe 50%, right? The other guy is going to be F. Let's leave it at 30%, right? And then we are going to just make it to be like this, with this angle. Okay, so this 30% take more of the space, and then this one is far away. So let me close it. Okay, so the next thing is we want to add the background blur, and it's going to be at 10. Now you can play around with this, but this is the value that I already defined from this design. So that's why. So you can see now that the background is blurring. Okay. Now it's blurry. You can go through it and experiment with it. Figma now have way of doing it progressively and all those other way of doing it. But Let's just keep it simple for now. So the next thing I want to do is we want to give it, of course, border radius. Let's give it 9, like this. Okay. So let's create this button. I mean, not this button, but this input field. We have this input field, this guy and this guy. So let's see what we have here. We have this full name, choose date, select duration, and then this CTA button. So we are going to do it the exact same way that we have been doing it so far with the button. So click on text and then write full name. Okay. The font size is 21. Let's make it 20. And then let's go get our icon. So you can search for user, or you can search for person, whichever one, whichever you want. Let's see, I think I'll search for person the other time. Anyway, anyone that you like. I want to get this particular icon back. I can't get it now. So I'm going to close this. In fact, after the name, the next one is date, which is calendar. Let's go with this guy. And then we have duration. So let's go with this 45. Okay, good. So that you can see it, let's change the color to white. So selection color, white. Where's the person? Did I not import it?